Alternate reality games can be an incredible way for a group to develop lore, differentiate their media, and show off their project, all in one incredible production that often ends up being cheaper for the producer and more fun for the consumer than typical advertising. But what happens when a well-executed ARG straight up fails? Today we're going to examine a case where a dedicated team started a phenomenal ARG only to have it spoiled by Nintendo of all people. This is a fascinating story involving a mysterious unfiction project, a WiiWare game which has gone largely underappreciated, a story spanning multiple games that is deeper than it seems at first, and Nintendo making a big mistake but somewhat making up for it in the end. If what you've heard so far interests you, then please stay tuned for the rest of this video. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Seedbutter and I'm really glad you stopped by. I make videos on all sorts of topics like unfiction and ARGs, iceberg chart deep dives, cryptids and creepypastas, Nintendo content from the Wii and DS era, and more. So if you end up enjoying this video, please consider subscribing to my channel and hitting the notification bell to stay updated on my latest uploads. Your support means everything to me and it helps me create even better content for you. Also, if you'd like to interact with me and other viewers, as well as help pick future video ideas, then consider joining my Discord server, the link to which is in the description of this video. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. WiiWare was a revolutionary platform for Nintendo. Launching in 2008, the app gave players unique experiences while emboldening indie creators to make unique projects, by lending them the tools to make low-budget games for the Wii, which could integrate some core features like motion controls. And this platform is crucial to the story we're looking at today. Our story begins with the studio Gaijin Games, which was founded by Alex Noose, Mike Rausch, and Chris Osborne. Initially conceived in 2004, the trio were unable to accomplish the daunting task of forming a studio and went back to their respective development jobs at different companies. But eventually, they all felt as if their creative freedoms had been hampered, and they tried again in 2007 and began working on a 6-title project. Originally called 8-Bit, this project would combine the trio's love for retro gaming, chiptunes, and new experiences into one, but would become something more fascinating than any of them likely could have imagined. After being picked up by a publisher, the 8-Bit series was renamed to Bit Trip. You may have heard of these games, where you play as a character named Commander Video in different styles of gameplay. By the end of its run, the Bit Trip series had become one of the best-selling and most fondly remembered Wii titles, and the runner games in the series performed particularly well. While these games had some degree of fame, most people fail to realize the deep story behind these games, and the connected themes that are woven throughout the first 6 titles in particular. What's more interesting than that, however, is the story of the failed ARG that was originally supposed to kickstart the launch of this game series. While short-lived, this project had promise, and it's what I'm eager to share with you right now. Let's take a look at how much of this project actually came to fruition, and what might have been if Nintendo hadn't ruined it. The Commander Video ARG began in December of 2008 when an anonymous email was sent to IGN containing the following video, which I'm going to play for you right now.
Wir haben etwas gefunden. Diese Liste. Hat der Meister es dir erklärt? Nein, soll ich was wissen? Kamera weg! Gib es mir. Tu es. Jetzt.
Okay, so if you're like me and you don't speak German, that video probably made no sense at all. In fact, I'm betting even if you did speak German, it wouldn't make sense either. There is one thing that you're able to make out though. As the German researchers or archaeologists or whoever they are dust off this machine, which looks to be like some sort of old TV set, you could hear a voice say, "I am only a man," before the men turn away and run off in fear. IGN quickly published this trailer in a write-up, and soon after, the ARG was in full swing. IGN's article laid a few things out without spoiling too much. They linked readers to the Commander Video website and claimed that whatever we were looking at here was in fact a WiiWare game. Not only that, but they stated that they were pretty sure that a frame from the game appeared on the screen in the video, but that was all that players had. 11 days later, the name Commander Video began popping up as a commenter on different forums, also linking people to the Commander Video website. When not commenting and directing people to the website, Commander Video spent their time on Twitter, engaging with players in the ARG and sending communications in a strange format. Commander Video would assign missions and tasks to players, doing some extremely creative things when it comes to ARGs. The tasks would further promote the games in ways that ARGs don't often do right. For example, Commander Video instructed players to talk about the games on different websites and, most interestingly, told a player to create a Wikipedia entry for the ARG itself, which they successfully did. This form of guerrilla marketing was extremely successful for the people behind this ARG, and the project got more and more popular every day. All these players were wondering what the actual game would be, or what all of this work was leading up to. As December ended and January of 2009 approached, Commander Video continued to send messages on Twitter and on other corners of the internet, stepping up his game and delivering puzzles like strands of light that could be arranged into an image of the character, oftentimes delivering the "I am only a man" tagline. Not only that, but Commander Video was vigilant, as when these puzzles were solved, they were put onto the website quickly. It seemed like the game would keep going and going, and the ARG would further develop. Fans eagerly awaited another large content drop, like a video, but on January 9th of 2009, only 21 days since the ARG first started, fans got something entirely different. In the newest Nintendo Power magazine, a game called Bit Trip Beat was announced. While engagement with the Commander Video ARG was at its peak and people were trying to earn the answer to what the project was all about, Nintendo up and dropped the answer in everyone's lap. In a quick write-up that didn't even get a full page of attention, Nintendo dropped 2 screenshots of the game, which is what gave it away, as well as the name of the game, its studio, and its publisher, leaving the ARG solved and the community, along with the Gaijin team, feeling empty. While this was extremely disappointing, all wasn't quite lost for the team. Alex, one of the studio's founders, was interviewed on the ARGNet website and got the chance to clarify some things about the project and talk about what might have been. Alex announced that the game, Bit Trip Beat, would be launched in early 2009 for the WiiWare platform, having this to say about the game. Beat is the beginning of it all, the beginning of life as we know it. Whether it's the beginning of life as Commander Video knows it, though, is still a mystery. Just as a heartbeat is the first step towards human life, Pong was the first step towards video game life. Since we're telling the story of Commander Video's life through a series of games, we felt it appropriate to use Pong as inspiration. When asked about why they chose to create a viral marketing campaign, Alex clarified that the team essentially had zero marketing budget, and also they thought it would be a fun and creative way to show off Bit Trip. He talked more about the project, revealing the mixed feelings that he and the team had about the article, suggesting that while they were honored to make it into Nintendo Power, they were dissatisfied at how the ARG ended. Despite this, the game would launch to critical acclaim on March 16th of 2009. So, why did I talk about this half of an ARG? Well, to be honest, I found this topic really fascinating for a couple of reasons, even though I've never played a single game in the Bit Trip series. Naturally, this is a fun story from the Wii era, which I'm partial to, but the story of this ARG is completely missing from internet coverage. I had to go beyond the basic Google search to learn about the story, and even then I had to rely on plenty of secondary sources, and I didn't get much of the data that I typically enjoy when I'm writing up projects like this. It's a real shame, not only what happened with the Nintendo Power article, but that people haven't heard the story of the Bit Trip ARG. As though it had a short lifespan, it was fascinating. I stumbled across this story recently by chance, and I'm glad I did, because I can't find anyone talking about this story anymore, and I wanted to share it with y'all. So, what happened after this rocky start with the game's marketing? Surprisingly, it all went uphill from there. The core entries in the Bit Trip series were released on WiiWare to high acclaim. The games, called Beat, Core, Void, Runner, Fate, and Flux, were extremely fun, artistic, and had a rich story told through deep symbolism and background details. There are 2 really good videos on the subject here, which you can watch if you're interested, but I'll go ahead and give a brief rundown of the story. The storyline follows Commander Video, our abstract and minimalist hero who embarks on a cosmic journey of self-discovery. Throughout his adventure, he encounters various challenges that represent different stages of his growth and development. Starting with Bit Trip Beat, Commander Video experiences his own creation. As he reflects incoming beats with a paddle, he begins to realize his own existence and the role he has to play in the universe. The story is told through cutscenes and in background details during gameplay. There are 3 levels, Transition, Descent, and Growth, all of which seem to show Commander Video being conceived. This is most present in Growth, where we see a brain assembled in the background, which goes on to develop eyes and see objects. As the credits of the game roll, something beautiful happens. Commander Video emerges from a room into an entryway with others of his kind, announcing, "I am only a man." By the end of Beat, Commander Video has been born. The next 5 games continue on with this abstract presentation of a man's life. In the sequel, Core, Commander Video is initially comforted by his parents, but seemingly gains the confidence to live on his own by the end of the game. In this game, he proudly proclaims, "I am not alone." Following Core, we enter Void, which centers on Commander Video developing his sense of self and understanding his emotions. He initially forces his ego on others, but hurts people around him, and by the end of the game he's realized that kindness and cooperation is the way to go, ending this entry by saying the words, "I am ready." In Bit Trip Runner, Commander Video seemingly travels the world and ventures forth, encountering an adversary who says to Commander Video, "You are not a man," and runs off into space, being chased by our protagonist and his friends. In Fate, a notably darker game than the rest of the entries in the series, Commander Video is killed while defeating this adversary, saving his friends but legitimately dying. At the end of the game, no words are spoken. In the final game, Flux, our commander seems to watch his life from the outside, slowly accepting his own death. He witnesses a symbolic presentation of the past 5 games and comes to understand that they are all pieces of his own self. The game ends as Commander Video ascends into light, ending his bit trip. While the series has lived on spiritually with some new, non-canon games, and the core entries have been ported to the Switch, Flux marked the end of Commander Video's story in a beautiful way. This 6-part series, dreamt up all the way back when Gaijin Games was founded, concluded by examining the entire conception, birth, life, death, and transcendence of a soul. This beautiful storytelling really makes me wonder what the creators could have done with a properly fleshed out ARG. You might be quick to blame Nintendo for not communicating with the team, who obviously wanted to keep the true nature of their game quiet until they had finished their campaign, but there was obviously no malintention, and Nintendo did honor the character in a unique way. In Smash Bros. Brawl for the Wii U, Commander Video appears as a trophy, being the first indie character to do so. There's also been some talk about him appearing as a Smash character at some point, so maybe that could happen. But until then, it seems like Nintendo and the creators of Bit Trip are on good terms, so there's really no need to push it. Thanks for watching this short video and giving me the chance to tell this strange story. While I'm not sure why I was drawn to Bit Trip so much in particular, the intersection between a somewhat forgotten WiiWare series and an attempt at making an ARG was fascinating. And like I said, this story is just never mentioned anymore on the internet, so I was glad to tell it. If you enjoyed this, make sure to consider subscribing and leaving a like or a comment on the video, and tell me your thoughts about this whole thing. Stick around for future content this summer and make sure to join the Discord if you want to be a part of the Seed Butter community. That's all I have for now, everyone, and have a good night.